Fast food on every corner, guns everywhere, loud people and nobody watching out for the person next to them. That's the image most Europeans carry into adulthood, built long before any passport comes out. That certainty forms early, and plenty of the people who hold it have never set foot in the country. Somewhere along the way, though, the ordinary days start happening. Not the big vacation moments, the small, forgettable ones. And that's exactly where the picture starts to fall apart. So what does a normal day in America actually look like once you're living inside it? Let's get into it. Stick around, because reason 6 is the one that changes how people see themselves, not just the country. Before any of this, there's a version of America that gets built entirely secondhand. From headlines, from films, from a relative who visited once and never stopped talking about it. Overpriced, overweight, overarmed, underheeled. That's the shorthand a lot of Europeans grow up with, and most never think to question it, because nobody around them does either. Not everyone arrives open-minded either. Family members raise eyebrows. Friends bring up crime statistics they read once and never forgot. Small stuff starts happening after that, and small stuff, it turns out, is what actually changes people. Reason 1. The neighborhood doesn't look like the postcard bright yellow and standing right out in the open. That's the first thing a British man notices as he walks a quiet American suburb. Nothing like the hydrants hidden under a metal plate back home. He keeps walking and keeps finding more of it. Shutters on nearly every window, no wall or fence or hedge separating any front lawn from the pavement, which feels exposed to him since every home he grew up around treats a boundary like a quiet warning to keep out. The small differences keep stacking.
So I am British, and I'm going to walk around an American neighbourhood and point out all the things that are different to a neighbourhood in the UK. First things first, these hydrants, we do not have them in the UK, but they seem to be everywhere in America. Next up, there are shutters on every single window in America. I think it's to keep out the sunlight from the houses, I'm not sure, but that is new. Another big difference is there are no fences or walls between the road and your garden or your house. In the UK, every house has a wall or a fence, like a blockade, I guess. The only fences I have seen are these kind of little metal ones, which, again, we don't have in the UK. I've noticed these little metal fences usually are in the back gardens of American houses. What about the front, guys? Don't even get me started on the size of your wheelie bins. Look at the wheels on that. I understand why people don't walk anywhere in America. Look at this. This is just one road on one neighbourhood. It's like Mount Kilimanjaro. Another thing is everything is a sharp bend. There's no such thing as a slow, gradual turn. There are so many differences, it's actually wild. Flags on houses. Again, we don't have them. Almost every other house in America has an American flag on it. Another thing you'll realise is no house is attached to another house. They're all detached. In England, most houses are attached. So yeah, they're just some of the differences between an American neighbourhood and a UK neighbourhood. If you enjoyed this video, I'm just scratching the surface. There's so many more.
Flags are what really get to another British visitor. He counts them on houses, on cars, outside restaurants and parks, then holds one up to the camera himself, half joking that flying his own flag back home currently feels like it might get him in trouble. He isn't really exaggerating. He's grown up watching people get side-eyed for hanging a national flag outside their own house.
So in the UK right now, it feels practically illegal to fly your flag. But in America, you can fly your flag wherever you like. You can have massive flags on the side of your house. You see them everywhere, on buildings, on parks, in restaurants, in the cars, absolutely everywhere. And it feels like everybody is really patriotic and happy to be American. And like your 250th birthday, look at the celebrations that Americans had. It was amazing, and it was big, and it was really exciting, exactly how you would expect an American celebration to be. But for some reason in the UK, it literally feels illegal to even put a flag up. And certain people tend to get really upset that you're flying the St George's Cross, which is the English flag, or the Union Jack, which is about the whole of the UK. And I really want to know, what is it that makes you Americans so patriotic and proud to be Americans? And what do you think about the fact that we are not allowed to fly it in the UK? And if we do, we're absolutely downtrodden. And it's just nuts how we get treated for doing it in this country.
Distance rewrites her whole sense of time. A woman driving through her new neighborhood realizes she's been running errands for over an hour and still isn't finished. Back home, the same list would have taken 10 minutes on foot. Here, 15 to 20 minutes is just the starting price for getting anywhere, and a 35-minute drive, which used to feel like a real trip, barely registers anymore. She jokes about the size of the cars and the parking spaces, but underneath the joke is something real.
One of the biggest things that has changed for me since moving to the USA is the time it takes to get places. I'm currently driving around running errands, okay? In the UK, that means I could either walk there or it would take me approximately 5 to 10 minutes to drive to where I need to go. I'm on hour and 15, okay? And I'm still running errands. That is because the average length to go anywhere is about 15 to 20 minutes minimum, okay? And now I find myself, right, where do I need to go? Where's this place? Google Maps that and 35 minutes, I'm like, oh, easy peasy. 40 minutes, easy peasy. The only time I start to go, oof, that's a bit of a way, around about an hour and a half. Around about an hour and a half, I'm like, okay, we're getting like a bit longer now. We're getting a bit longer. In England, if I'd have mapped somewhere and gone 35 minutes, no, I'm not going. I'm just not going. Sorry, I'm not going. Whereas now, you want to take half my day driving? Sure. I mean, if I have to get the stuff done, then I have to get the stuff done. If I have to go, then I have to go, don't I? It's just ridiculous. So I spend most of my time driving. I literally spend most of my time in America driving. No wonder their cars here are bigger than blue whales, and no wonder their parking spaces are larger than the average UK house. Not to mention, don't get me started on a traffic light. Sitting at a red light, I could write a novel. Throne of Glass 2.0, it's coming out of me at the red lights because that's how long I'm stuck here for.
Attached garages settle it for one German expat. He compares his parents' house, where the car sits completely separate from the building, to the setup he lives with now. Drive straight into the garage, then walk directly into the kitchen without ever meeting the weather. Carrying groceries used to mean getting rained on. Now it doesn't.
I love about American houses is the garage. In the US, many houses have a garage directly attached to the house. You drive home, open the garage, park the car, and walk directly into the house. When you have groceries, when it is raining, when it is hot, it is just very convenient. In Germany, this is not always the case. Where my parents live, for example, they live in a house, but the car is not directly attached to the house. You have to walk to it. And yes, Germans will say, that was healthy. Sure, but sometimes I do not want to do a wellness walk with 14 grocery bags. Sometimes I just want to enter my house like a normal person.
Reason 2. Everyday errands feel like a different era. Pharmacy drive-thrus are the detail that gets a British mother of 3. She pulls up, stays in her car with her kids still buckled in, and drives away minutes later holding a bag of prescriptions. Here, she never leaves her seat. She calls it genius, then says it feels like the country is living years ahead of her own.
America, this is genius. This is so amazing. We don't have these in the UK. We need them in the UK. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Drive-thru pharmacy. Thank you. Thanks so much. That was so easy. And it just makes sense, doesn't it? In the UK, you often went to collect your prescriptions from a pharmacy, which was really small. You would be mixing with other people, potentially giving them your germs, potentially getting their germs. And more often than not, they were elderly or disabled or vulnerable and probably shouldn't be mixing with other sick people. They might not even have had the immune systems to fight these bugs off. If I could have just hopped in my car and gone and got my prescription, I definitely would have done that. There were so many instances where I was just so sick, nobody was able to look after my children, but I needed to get medication, and I would have to take all 3 children, sometimes when they were a baby, into the pharmacy. They were potentially catching germs off other people. Sometimes they'd be running around the pharmacy, pulling things off shelves, and I just wanted to get my medication and go home and feel better. And it was an ordeal. oh man, if we'd have had a drive-through pharmacy, how much easier life would have been when I was sick or the kids were sick. Just to bundle them up, pop them in the car. I could have been in my pajamas. I could have just got my medication, carried on with my day. I just feel like America is way ahead of the UK on so many things, and this is a huge thing.
Food gets its own reaction. Two young hosts debated on a podcast, and one of them doesn't hesitate. American food wins, no contest. He describes home as grey and flat, and America as something closer to sunlight, then lands on the reason why: a diner that serves breakfast at any hour, day or night. His advice for anyone flying over for the first time is blunt. Skip the hotel first. Go straight from the airport to the diner.
USA food or UK food?
What? USA food? Are you crazy?
Or would?
What?
Is it like that? Yeah.
Duh.
Oh, so I've not been to US still.
The UK is grey and black and white, bro. The US is like sunshine.
Yeah, sun.
But then there's different areas. Like I went to some good areas.
And then because I've heard like Houston, like that area, especially spring
Houston
break,
has good food.
I heard
My favorite spot in America in general was Waffle House, bro. I had Waffle House.
That sounds nice. Still, what is it? One of them places where they got the chicken inside 2 waffles or something? Or?
Waffle House is just breakfast, but it's all day.
Okay.
Yeah, 24 hours breakfast.
That's
it's
good.
Two buff.
That's good. Now I need to go to the States one time. Still,
listen. If you're from the UK and you want to go to America, just go to Waffle House.
Waffle House.
First thing from the airport, just find the nearest Waffle House if it's in that state. Waffle House. Perfecto.
Two friends walk into a Midwest Supercenter expecting a grocery store and find something closer to a theme park. The building alone stops them at the entrance, and somehow it feels even bigger once they're inside. Fresh dragon fruit gets held up like it's an alien specimen. $1 buys a full tub of ice cream from a self-serve counter. A single bag of cookies weighs more than either of them expected. Near the checkout, a coin-operated pony ride costs 1 cent, which is somehow the detail that finally breaks them. One of them climbs on anyway.
Guys, we have made it to Grand Rapids!
And we are going to experience our first ever Maya.
Let's get inside!
Mate, it's massive. Look at the size of it.
This is mental.
Family owned, 1934.
Welcome to Maya. It's even bigger on the inside. It's like a TARDIS.
Isn't it? I will say, this fruit looks good, mate. Look how fresh it looks. What even is that?
Like a Pokemon. A purple cow.
Let's find out.
Mate, it's ice cream.
Ice cream?
You just help yourself?
I think you can. Get one. Scooperman ice cream.
What flavour's Scooperman?
What are you doing? What do you mean?
It's my ice cream.
It's good ice cream, this. It's mine now.
How American is this?
What?
These cookies, mate.
Oh.
Are you joking?
Oh, mate.
Who's made them? Willy Wonka?
That's going to go well with my ice cream.
That's heavy, that. There's 3 cookies in there.
We're getting some. I'm sorry, look at the actual size of this milk. Who needs milk that I've got a big head, and that's bigger than my head, mate. They even do clothes here, but I've noticed something incredible. Look what it is. It's my team.
No, we're green, mate.
Go blue.
We're green.
Go blue.
Mate, they've got a mechanical horse.
Oh, what?
1 cent.
That's cheap, that.
Can you ride it?
I don't know. Mate, you should ride it.
No one's riding that.
Off to the produce section, let's go!
If you've noticed something like this yourself, drop it in the comments. Reason 4 might explain exactly why. Reason 3. Strangers don't act like the warnings promised. Nicest people she's ever met. That's how a young British woman sums up the shift. Retail staff greet her at the door in every store, not just the expensive ones, which back home is reserved almost entirely for luxury shops. Drivers wave at her on residential streets for no reason at all. Men hold doors at gas stations without being asked. She keeps getting mistaken for Australian, and now treats it as a compliment rather than correcting it.
The people in America are honestly some of the nicest people I have ever met. I'll tell you a few reasons why. Firstly, everyone's so friendly. Whenever you walk into a shop here, somebody always welcomes you in. It's always, hi, how are you? Welcome in. Let me know if you need anything. I mean, we have that in England, but in the high-end stores. Here, you have it everywhere. When you're just walking through the streets, people say hello. It's really nice. Side note, whenever I have a conversation with someone, they always ask me if I'm from Australia. We sound totally different, so I will never understand that. I take that as a compliment. I like the Australian accent. People here are so polite. It's always yes sir, no sir. Also, if someone's in someone's way, they always apologise, they say excuse me. So that's cute. Also, when I'm walking down the street, every single person in their car will wave. Through the neighbourhood, they'll wave. As if to say hi. That's such a friendly thing to do. They don't do that back in England. Another thing, you can tell here they have traditional values. The men here, whether you're just at a petrol station, a store, a restaurant, they will hold the door for you. It's so sweet. And the girls are so friendly. They'll say hello, they'll compliment you, they'll ask if you want to hang out. I love that.
Tipping tops the list for a different British visitor who breaks the whole shift down into a ranked order. It buys a level of service that consistently beats what he's used to, he admits, because it gives staff an actual reason to care. Being called sir or ma'am used to mean something formal and rare where he's from, tied to knighthoods and ceremony. Here it's just a pleasantry, and he says he genuinely loves it. But the biggest shift happens at a stadium when a full crowd goes quiet, takes its hats off, and sings together before a game even starts. He describes getting goosebumps the first time he saw it.
Now, as a Brit travelling America, I think these are the three biggest cultural differences that I found so far. And number one probably isn't what you're expecting. So number three, I think you find this one out really quickly, and that is the tipping culture. It's not something that we really have in the UK unless you go to restaurants with really big parties and then it's just included in the bill. Leaving a tip is not something that we really do. But I have learned that in America, for a service, you do pay a tip. And I do have to say that 9 times out of 10, the service is a lot better than what it is back in Britain. Now, number two, this one did take me a little bit longer to pick up on, but it's really cool. Now, everyone calls each other sir or ma'am. We don't really have that in the UK. If somebody calls you a sir, it usually means that you've been knighted, so you've met the Queen and you had one of the swords on your shoulders. It's like an official title. But over in America, it's just a pleasantry, and I absolutely love it. And I think the biggest cultural shock that I've had as a Brit in America is how proud you guys are of your country. So from walking in the street, waving the big flags, to all the massive sporting events where everyone takes off the hat, looks at the flag and sings the national anthem. It is incredible. And honestly, the first time that I experienced it, I literally had goosebumps. And for a moment there, I did get a real taste of that American freedom.
Nobody stares. That's the quieter shift a French woman notices. Not at breakfast, not walking down the street, not for what she's wearing or how she talks. Back home, she says, public spaces carry a layer of quiet judgment she'd stopped even noticing because it had always just been there. Here it's gone, and she sums up the feeling simply, you're just allowed to be who you are.
I'm back in the US and I almost forgot that people here, they don't really care about each other, but in a good way. For example, this morning at the breakfast, nobody was watching at me like that, because this is the kind of thing you can see in France, but here, no. People, they don't really care. Like, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, you just who you are, you know? It just feels so great.
Months of filming strangers in public taught a British food creator what all of it adds up to. People here don't just tolerate a camera pointed their way. They lean into it with real curiosity, something that would get him mocked back home. He adds that Americans defend their hometowns and their food with genuine pride, no cynicism attached, and that success here tends to get celebrated rather than quietly resented. Nobody's pulling anyone down, he says. If anything, it's the opposite.
Here are 3 things that I learned about American people as a food influencer who just got back from the World Cup. They're friendly, almost to a fault. I'd be sat at the table with my camera and a stranger would just perch next to me with a genuine curiosity about what I was doing. Now, in the UK, people react with total disdain when they see me talking to a camera. Secondly, they are insanely proud of their country and where they're from. I'd leave restaurants with huge lists from locals about where to eat next. They want the world to see what America has to offer without the media agenda. And the third but nicest thing is just how happy they are to see other people succeed. There's no resentment or jealousy that you get in the UK. They really push each other up rather than pulling each other down.
Reason 4, the rules underneath daily life are different. Not every difference feels good, and Hannah is honest about that. As a British mum living in the US, she lists 3 adjustments that took real getting used to. Kids start organised sports as early as 2 or 3, with a level of commitment that treats it almost like a career path rather than a weekend hobby.
Here
Here are 3 things I had to quickly learn as a UK mum living in America. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Hannah. I am a British mum. I'm currently living in the US. Number 1 is sports. I feel like sports are a huge deal over here, and pretty early on in a kid's life, like age 2 or 3, they'll start playing sports and kind of work out what sport they want to play, like, and then they'll choose their sport and they'll kind of play that all the way through their school life. Whereas I feel like back in the UK, kids play sports, of course, but it's more just like a hobby, a lot more relaxed. Whereas here, I feel like there's this huge pressure on it. Like, I think it's good. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's great for kids to have that outlet, but it's just so different to the UK. Number 2 is full-time daycare. It took me so long to let go of that mum guilt about sending my son to daycare full-time. I feel like back in the UK, it's more common that kids go to nursery kind of part-time, like 3 days a week. But it's so normal here. Like, of the kids that go to daycare, I'd say 90% of them are full-time. Number 3 is budgeting for medical appointments. So my son recently had to go to the doctors and they referred him to the hospital to have his ears checked, and then came the bill. And it's just something I was completely not used to. Like, if I've ever been given an appointment for something back in the UK, I just kind of turn up and just didn't think twice about it. Whereas here, I need to remember that if something like that is coming up, I need to budget for it this month.
Motorcyclists without helmets are where a British expat in Florida draws the line. She runs into a different set of surprises behind the wheel. Riders take the highway with no helmet requirement at all, which genuinely frightens her given how strict UK law is on the subject. Her own driving test happened entirely inside a car park, nothing on a real road, which still feels unbelievable to her.
I'm a British girl who's been living in America for the past 2 years, Florida to be precise, so I want to share with you the culture shocks which I have faced. Coming in strong, it's the no helmets. Over here, I don't think it's an every state thing, it's definitely like, not even every part in Florida too, but motorcyclists don't have to wear helmets, which blows my mind. They'll be driving on the I-4 without a helmet, just zooming by. Oh my gosh, it gives me so much fear. Coming in strong at number 2 is the driving test. Don't even get me started on this. I was petrified. Before doing mine, thinking, oh my gosh, I was driving for 2 years in England beforehand, but I was still scared. Tell me why the driving test was in a car park. All I had to do was go around, reverse maybe a little bit, park into a space. She looks at me, she said, of course you passed. I'm thinking, okay. Number 3 is drivers on the road. I want to talk about it. The stress. I don't really get road rage. It depends on my mood. But the drivers over here are crazy. I've never experienced drivers like it. They're like they have 10,000 lives. It's like, what are you doing? Are you mad? Not having to hold the pump at the gas station. If that isn't the most American saying I could have ever said, yes, it is. That is crazy to me. I remember the first time I ever tried it, last time too, because I don't know what happened. Literally, I did everything right, but the petrol started coming out. Drive-thru ATMs, that blew my mind when I first saw them. I was like, what?
8 times over, that's how much bigger the United States is than the UK. And it's the number another British creator uses to take on a stereotype. The idea that Americans don't own passports because they're incurious. A flight from London to Paris takes 40 minutes. A 12-hour drive across Europe crosses 4 different countries, while the same 12 hours in Texas can keep you inside a single state line. Once the scale is laid out like that, skipping the passport stops looking like ignorance and starts looking like simple geography.
Here is something Americans do that the European mind cannot simply comprehend, okay? Europeans, Brits like myself, can travel across Europe. You can get to France in 40 minutes on an airplane ride. You can get to Germany, you can get anywhere in Europe in well under 2 hours, no problem at all, alright? It's easy, it's accessible. People will always say, why don't Americans need passports? I'll tell you why. Americans don't need to travel outside of America. Each state is like its own country. Like we have when we visit literal different countries, America has different states that are literally like different countries. They have their own personality, they have their own culture, they have their own scenery, they have their own weather. Americans don't need to leave America, they just simply need to go on holiday/vacation to another state. It's that simple. America is absolutely ginormous. I think you can fit the UK like 8 times
times inside America. The UK has, what, 70 million people? America has 370 million people! But it's so hard for the European mind to even simply comprehend why Americans don't need to leave America. The simple answer is, America is so big with such vast scenery in different states. Americans commute an hour and a half to work. Brits can get to a different country in under an hour. Americans can drive 12 hours and still be in the same state. Brits can drive 12 hours and go through 4 different countries. That is the level we're talking about here, and that is the reason why Americans don't really need a passport. They just go on vacation in their own country.
Reason 5. The mindset underneath. It is different too. Europe wins on healthcare, work-life balance and food quality. A German comedian admits that much without hesitation. But he says there's a cost hiding underneath all that comfort. Chase an unconventional dream back home, and the reaction is rarely encouragement. It's more likely to sound like, who do you think you are? Stay in your lane, go become an engineer. He says America does the opposite. It rewards obsession, even the kind that borders on delusion. And he offers his own career as proof it's possible.
As a European, I hate when people shit on America. They're like, oh my god, Germany's so much better, better healthcare, everything's better in Europe. Better healthcare, better food, less Jews. I'm getting jokey. And I agree, there's a lot of great things about Europe, but I want to present the flip side as somebody who's lived in Europe, which is that if you have a dream, so if you want to do anything out of the norm, like if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you have a dream to become a comedian, do any of that stuff, Europe is kind of judgmental towards that, because we're like, if you have a dream, huh? Who do you think you are, having a dream? Yeah? The last time a German had a dream, it didn't go so well, yeah? So stay in your bubble, become an engineer, and do what you're expected to. Yeah? So I think Europe is better at protecting people, reducing stress, have a better quality of life, all this stuff. But America is better at rewarding obsession and delusion. Everybody thinks they can become a millionaire. And even though it's very cutthroat, there's something beautiful about that. Like Trump is president. I'm a German comedian in America. Anything is possible here. You understand? Not that they're the same thing. I'm just saying, like, it's not like you wouldn't expect it.
Average, comfortable and genuinely fine. That's Europe, according to a different German creator, and he means it as a real compliment, not an insult. But he didn't move to the US chasing average. He moved because he wanted to build something bigger than a safety net could offer, and he says giving up guaranteed healthcare and cheaper groceries for a higher ceiling was worth it to him personally.
If you want to have an average life, Europe is actually perfect for you. I'm German and I moved to the US 2 years ago because I want to achieve something in my life. But if you're okay with not owning a house, not having a car or only a small car, you will have free healthcare that's paid by your taxes. You will have cheaper groceries because you make way less money. Then Europe is actually perfect for you.
Reason 6. It doesn't just change what they see, it changes who they are. Cowboy hat on, walking through his neighbourhood, one British man now living stateside says the shift went past opinions and into identity. He was raised in England, he says, but remade in America. The version of him from a few years ago and the version standing in front of the camera now barely resemble each other, not just physically, but in how he carries himself.
I was born in England, but I was made in America. Literally the best decision I ever made in my entire life was coming here. Like, the change in me compared to however many years ago to now is so stark and so drastic. Like, I'm a whole different person. Mate, literally look at me. Like, there has been a change, and not only physically, but also inside, personality-wise. You know what I mean? Like, I've become such a more confident person since being here. It's put me in so many uncomfortable situations where I have made myself become comfortable, and that's what life's about. I've grown so much, I've learnt so much, I've seen so many different backgrounds and cultures and things like that, where I feel like my knowledge has gone sky high since coming here. You know, it's the land of opportunity. I've taken on so many opportunities and I'm forever grateful for that. And America isn't for everyone. Like, I'm not saying it's the most unbelievable country in the world, but what I will say is it is the greatest country in the world, and I love it. And America, thank you for having me.
Sitting in his UK living room after months of travelling around America, James Satkan admits something he calls strange, and honestly a little depressing. Coming back doesn't feel like relief. It feels like loss. He says travelling opened his eyes to a version of life with more energy, more spontaneous connection, more new people every single day. And now the quiet of his old routine feels like it belongs to a person he used to be. He's already booked a flight back for the end of October, and he says it plainly. America did something to him he still can't fully explain.
I'm just going to put it out there. Once you have been travelling around America for a substantial amount of time, when you come home, it is a very strange and slightly, truthfully, depressing feeling, okay? Traveling around America really opened up my eyes, really allowed me to see how I could be living and just how many opportunities there are and how many different amazing places there are, all in one country. Like, since I've been back home in the UK, I haven't felt like myself, which sounds so crazy. I now live for that adventure, that crazy lifestyle, that meeting new people, seeing new people every day, and I just long for it. And in America, it is so amazing. Oh, seriously, Americans, what have you done to me? I need to come back. October, end of October, back in America. I can't wait. It's really kerfuffled me, man. Coming home from America, it has kerfuffled me.
None of these 6 reasons stand alone. The hydrants and the flags open the door, but it's the pharmacy line that stays with people. The driver who waves for no reason, the sports schedule that reshapes an entire week, the mindset that says a dream isn't ridiculous. Everyday life in America was never the headline. It was always the small print. And the small print is exactly what none of them expected to change. Maybe that's the real takeaway. The loud stuff, the politics, the headlines, the arguments online was never where a country actually reveals itself. It reveals itself in a driveway, a checkout line, a Tuesday morning nobody planned to film. Assumptions rarely survive an ordinary day. If this changed how you picture an average day over there, subscribe for the next one. And tell us in the comments which reason surprised you the most.